Hi everybody, this is Odd Samurai, and today I'm gonna be reacting to Jujutsu Kaisen Season 2, Episode 5. So last time was kinda, well, like obviously we knew Gojo wasn't dead, but I was still, a little bit surprised at the time that he came back. But first, let's talk a little bit about how Getou got defeated, which was brutal. Not as much as the way that Gojo went down, but still, the only reason that Toji didn't kill him is because there was a chance that one of Geto's curses could like still haunt him after Geto's death, kind of like post-mortem Nen from Hunter x Hunter. So he was like, yeah, I'm not gonna take that risk, so I'm just gonna let you basically pretty damn injured, but not I'm not gonna make sure that you're dead like he kind of did with Gojo, because a knife to the head would regularly kill you, and Toji didn't think that Gojo would be able to do what he did. I don't remember exactly what, but he used curse energy to basically get himself back to breathing again and make his brain work. But yeah, Toji defeated Getou, and I think a very important line that I think will or did affect Getou is that do not ever forget that a monkey like me that cannot use curse energy was the one that defeated you. And you know what Getou calls people that cannot use curse energy. So that definitely did stick with him. Then we went just following Toji for a little bit. He was with his buddy and went to the star cold head and gave him Rico's corpse, because I guess it was necessary. And apparently he had hired Toji and had not at all expected that he'd be able to pull this off. But he did. Though I'm not sure why it was necessary to retrieve the corpse, other than, just proof, physical proof that he did manage to do it. So there's that. And then we had Gojo come back, and Toji being pretty reasonably surprised. But then, he seemed like, he was very confident that he still had this. Because just Gojo seemed very just out of it. He seemed high on his own power. He seemed so calm, despite everything that happened. Like, you would not think that someone that just basically experienced being killed and then going to fight this other person again, that yes, Gojo was definitely acting unhinged, but the way that he was talking about it or thinking about it made it seem as if what happened to Rico and himself did not have much bearing on the way that he was acting. It was more so that because of him surviving this, he's proved to himself that he indeed, I'm the honored one. Basically, he is the strongest in the whole world, and therefore, why the hell should he care what, whether he kills or not? Basically, no one can stop him anyway. But, you know, I just, yeah, it'd be different if he was like angry, or if he was just acting, you know, crazily happy because he just could not deal with what happened. But that didn't seem to be the case, so that's what threw me off a little bit last time. Just I would guess that every person in his life has treated him like he's the best one in terms of like fighting, in terms of like surviving, in terms of like no one ever actually being able to touch him. And even though he had that that notion before, you know, because he and Getou used to call each other the strongest ones. Now that he survived something like this, it's like, oh yeah, this proves that everything that people have been telling about me is true. So yeah, I can just do whatever the hell I want. So he kills Toji. I will learn a little bit about him, but not as much as I wanted to, which is a shame. But yeah, we see that he had not I don't want to call it a grudge, but just, you know, a specific reason of why he accepted the job, specifically targeting Gojo. That's because he wanted to prove to himself that, you know, that Zenin clan had been wrong for casting him aside, for basically kicking him out, for not having any cursed energy. And that's why he also used that specific line against Getou, because he feels resentful that he wasn't accepted for just basically having only physical strength. And then we see the little shot of baby Megumi and the mom, and he says something along those lines of like, that's weird, I thought I chose not to care about anything or anyone again. So yeah, it seemed like even though he wanted not to care, he did care, and therefore he mentioned Megumi as his last words. Not necessarily specifically asking Gojo to take care of him, just, you know, he told him this is what's gonna happen and you can do whatever with that information. So yeah. And then the last scene, like, ooh, that was a chilling scene with Gojo carrying Riko's corpse after retrieving it from, I'm guessing he killed the leader of the Star cult. So he had her, and then Getou arrived. Oh, but before that, we saw like one of the worm curse that was with Toji, and call him mother, which I have no idea what that means. But yeah, he was there with Gojo, and then Gojo was like completely enshrouded in darkness, and he was like, should we just kill all these people? Now he doesn't say at all why he would want to kill him. You know, like I said, it would be like reasonable or understandable that he'd want to do that out of anger, righteous anger, because of, you know, what they were supporting with what happened to Riko. But he doesn't say any of that. He's just like, what's the point? Killing them, not killing them? I mean, you know, what does it matter? And that was a very dangerous line that he was about to cross. But Getou fortunately stopped him. And he was like, no, there has to be a reason. There has to be a reason, otherwise you're just, you know, otherwise you just completely lose sight of any rules of morals as a human. So, but it did seem like Getou kind of like the way that he kept listing reasons as to why also they shouldn't do it. You know, there's no, these people already, you know, they're not gonna do it, the cult is gonna dissolve anyways, blah, blah, blah. Almost seemed like he was also convincing himself not to do this, because by that point Gojo was already walking away from him. So yeah, that was quite the scene. Yeah, definitely my favorite one of the whole episode for me. So yeah. So let's start in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. 1, 2, 3. I wonder if this opening is only gonna last for these 5 episodes, or if we're just gonna completely change song and visuals after this. No, そこにみんなは遊んでいる。みんなは遊んでいる。まだいるよねって言ってにならない声1 year later, August 2007. We're just gonna skip a year? Yeah. Okay. Wow. Damn, they're really showing off with the animation for this pencil. We're not seeing his face. Getou. He doesn't look good. Oh, he left them behind. They're no longer a pair. Premature death? This sounds like what he was talking about at the beginning of this arc. And who were you doing it before the Rico incident happened? Whoa. Yeah, we can already see the deteriorate Oh my god, the clapping? There we go. That's the first. How his mental health is deteriorating. Oh my god, look at the bag under his eyes. Mm. Is she related to Todo? Who? Oh, I like Haibara. Did Geto get bigger? Like with more broad shoulders? I don't remember Todo's last name. No, maybe they're not related. I think she was his teacher. Soka. Oh, I like that mindset. Although it's more about the methods of what she uses for that. Mm. Yep. Oh, this is cool. Mm. Was. Mm. That seems like a lot of work. Mm. Oh boy. That's the conclusion he took. Oh, so this is where he got that idea. Unfortunately. Right. Oh, now the clapping stopped. Mm. I mean, I mean, Geto didn't really care about that. He cared about protecting Rico as a person. Is that Nanami? Hmm. Oh no, is that Haibara? Oh boy, that visual. Oh, are those two from the movie? 哦 bro, is he gonna kill them? Oh my god, he's killing everyone there. $112. Sentenced to death, yeah. Oh, Gojo knows now. Oh, he's pissed. I love the facial animation. Oh. Mm. He's not even gonna try and deny it. Here we go. The crucial separation. Oof. Oh, but I have a point. Yep. Oh, wow. Yeah. So it's because he thinks it's impossible? No, he couldn't get himself to do it. But he won't. Getou just means too much to him. Right. Yeah. Interesting way to see that. Oh, is that... That's the guy that was working with Toji, right? That's his voice. Yeah. Wow, he basically adopted this too. Many objected. Wow. That's the true feeling I chose. Oh, we are getting this meeting. Different story, huh? Oh, we're seeing this scene from Gojo's eyes. Oh, he was actually gonna say it? Sumiki's mother. Yeah, he's so mature for his age. Hmm. So it's not that Gojo didn't want to tell him, it's that Fujiguro didn't want to hear. Hmm. October 19, 2018. Wow, we're back in the present. Look at him being happy to see his students. Oh, this is exactly from how the opening starts. Oh, that the way the episode ended was really sweet. God, I don't know. that of everything, that's what made me emotional. It wasn't Gojo and Geto separating or Geto completely falling into such a horrific ideology, but just Gojo seeing his students and being happy that this is what he has right now. These are people that he's sure he can protect and that he's completely confident in that he will guide into a better path. Ah, the ending hurts now. I did not expect, like, I expected it to be sad, but like I said, what actually got me emotional is not what I thought it would. It's still really unfortunate that that rift between Gojo and Geto happened. Especially since we know how it ends in JJK0. Okay, yeah, we're continuing on with the present. Though I'm pretty sure we're gonna have like recap episodes. So basically like 2 or 3 weeks without a new episode. So that's a shame, but you know, who knows what's happening there with the production. But yeah, this episode, yeah, this is everything I wanted from the end of this arc. Basically telling us how everything, how specifically Geto and Gojo ended up being the people that we know them as. But yeah, we start with Gojo trying to learn and train in keeping specifically the ability that doesn't let anyone touch him, basically always being active, or at least, for it to always be on subconsciously, so that he doesn't have to like put on energy to have it active or deactivated, but just for the curse energy itself to know when to be active or unactive, which is basically how we know that's what he can do now. And then we have just Getou's slow unraveling, just descent into not madness, but more so just not being able to live with, specifically, I find it really, it really helps to get into Gojo's mind, the way that they kept bringing back the clapping that the cult members were doing at the end of last episode, because it really does feel like that really scarred Getou's sense of self, and it's always a constant in his mind, specifically when he's thinking about normal people and curses. But yeah, he was talking a little bit to Hayabara, and if he was gonna be able to continue on being a Jujutsu sorcerer. And after we saw later on in the episode, he does not make it, even though it seemed like he had quite the positive and the right attitude to go about this, but that did not help him. And then we get this woman, which I don't think I got the name of, but yeah, the more I thought about it, I'm pretty sure we have seen her before, like a little bit of a flash with Dodo when he was a little kid, and she's the one, I think, that trained him. I could be wrong, but I do think he admired her, but I don't think they're related. But yeah, she sits down with Getou, just not at all being able to calm down and keep thinking about what keeps dragging him down, which was that day. And this is what actually gets him to kind of clear his mind, which is, I want to create a world where cursed spirits aren't born. Because just the way that his power works really, it's really nauseous for him to use it again and again and again, like he emphasized. And then we get a little bit of exposition of how, just what cursed energy is and how it works, and how that influences how curses are born. And we talk a little bit about Dojin and his Heavenly Pact, or I went back to season 1, I think it was called Heavenly Restriction back then, which is that he had no cursed energy, but because of that he was basically superhuman and strengthened all the normal 5 senses. And then she gets there are these 2 measures that I've been looking at to help out with the number of curses that exist in this world. And then Getou is like, well, yeah, you have those, but what about killing what about killing everyone that is not a Jujutsu sorcerer? And I do find it interesting that neither her nor Gojo talk about, that's morally wrong. You cannot do that. They're people too. They always just go, yeah, that's not, that's not feasible for you alone to do it. Well, she says that it's an easy way to do it, but then says, unfortunately, I'm not crazy enough for that. So she still has, a reasonable enough head on her shoulders to be like, yeah, that kind of sounds like genocide, and I'm not up to that. So, and then from this on, that's what kept the gears on Getou's head to keep turning into that direction. Yeah, I find myself struggling to discern the difference just and accept those things of wanting to kill non-sorcerers and rejecting that side of me. So then she leaves, which, like I said, that was big. That was I feel like a big turning point for Getou to choose what it is that he wanted to do. And then, we get Nanami just, yeah, I would say this would be the point for Nanami where he decided, yeah, I don't want to be a Jujutsu sorcerer, like, at all. So that's what he was like, okay, I'll just get a regular job. And then we get the flashback from season 1, and that's where he went back to Jujutsu sorcering. But yeah, losing Hayuara definitely messed with his perception of things. But I'd say that Nanami is definitely the kindest and most reasonable Jujutsu sorcerer there is. And yeah, oh my god, the blood filling up the hallway outside of where Getou was with Nanami. Whew, that imagery. And yeah, also, I think it's important to note that after last episode, Gojo stopped altogether to working alongside Getou in missions. It was always just him. I can only trust myself. They're no longer a pair. We're not the strongest. I'm the only one that gets to stay on the top. So that also furthered just Getou's isolation. I feel like maybe if Gojo had been more observant and just paying more attention to what Getou was feeling, then maybe this wouldn't have gotten to this point. But obviously Gojo's not at fault. Then we get just Getou going to save 2 poor girls that really hadn't done anything, but were being blamed for a curse, I think. Just roaming around this village and causing havoc, and they were basically treating them like garbage. So Getou was like, yeah, this is done. The non-sorcerers believed to be so much better than us, that they're othering us. No. And then it just kept escalating until he killed his parents, which I feel like we should have gotten a little more context on that, because I have no idea whether his parents were Jujutsu sorcerers or not. But I would guess no. Otherwise, why would he say, that I shouldn't make exceptions for my parents? And then going on to that, those people are not in my family. Simply because they're not able to use curse energy. And then, Gojo finds out and he just cannot believe it. He's on denial, which makes complete sense. Then, they have the conversation on the street. And yeah, this is, Gojo doesn't say, well, at first he tries to use what Getou used to do with him, which is, there should be a point to killing. But then Getou, of course, he sees this as being a point to all this killing. Well, I have a goal for it, therefore there is a point in killing these people. I'm not just doing just because I'm doing it for this cause. But Gojo obviously that's not good enough. And then so he then switches to, well, you cannot do it. There's way too many people. That's impossible for you to achieve that. And that's when Gojo turns it around. Not Gojo. Getou turns it around on Gojo, being like, oh, you're mocking me, basically. So you could do it, but then you're limiting me because I'm not as strong as you. And yeah, Getou makes his decision. He decides how he's gonna live his life, even if no one else understands it. I don't think this is an unreasonable turn of character for Getou now after seeing these all 5 episodes. I think they showed the way, he shifted his perspective fairly well. Because you could see by the end of last episode that he was doubting himself and what he was saying to Gojo. After all, even if we take out, just being sick of curses alone, it's just the fact that the people that did that to them, during the Rico incident, the guilty ones were known sorcerers, so that just kind of fueled his hatred. And, basically, what he learned today about, how curses are born just felt more like a justification for the hatred that he has. And so then he becomes who we know in Jujutsu here. And then we get Gojo meeting Megumi, which is a very interesting scene. We see a little bit of it during season 1 from Fujiguru's perspective. I think it's when he right before he uses a domain expansion. It was like episode 23 or 24. But yeah, this definitely gives it a different feeling now that we know that what Gojo thinks about Toji. But even then, yeah, when he sees that Megumi has no interest in his dad, he's like, okay, I can deal with this. And then when Megumi goes, well, if this is gonna be good for Tsumiki, that's his sister's name, then I would go to the Senin clan. And then Gojo's like, no, you would not be happy, with a very serious voice. And just goes, okay then, since that was your only condition, let's go. And goes, I will make you stronger. It's strong enough to keep up with me. No wonder Gojo has so many stocks on Fushiguro's potential. So yeah, that was the episode. I feel like I talked too much, but I think I needed to talk all of everything because this is such an important episode in overall in the story as a whole, because of how it influences what's happening right now. Not just the characters, but also, you know, the curses that we're probably going to be dealing with. And by that I mean, you know, whether Gojo is going to look back on Getou's changed ideology now that he's no longer around? Question mark? I do remember season 1, so yeah. If you enjoyed my reaction to this episode, please like and subscribe. Until next time, see ya.